Sup YouTube, welcome back to another video documenting my journey to legend. In my last video I mentioned that there was an OG team that the Registeel Double Dragon line was based on. This is the team. Swampert lead, preferably a Shadow Swampert lead, with the same two backmons, Double Dragons in the back. Just want to give a quick massive shout out and thank you to Devraj for supporting the channel. Without further delay, let's get into these battles. So this is a typical ABB team, where Swampert is double weak to grass in the lead, and you have two things in the back that cover his weaknesses, and you also have Swampert covering the two weaknesses of the Pokemon in the back. Now, Sableye lead. So, my swap, oh, actually, no, this is different than the Registeel. In the Registeel lead, I usually swap into Dragonite, but since Swampert is so spammy, I know they're not going to shield that Hydro, and I really don't want them to. But now I can shield and hopefully come in with Shadow Dragonite and try to farm them down. I am down a shield. I'm going to go straight for the superpower. No baiting. If they shield, I'll potentially shield and try to get off another superpower. But now I'm thinking that I might be able to go... Oh, never mind. Never mind, yes. I was thinking that I could come back in with Swampert and mud shot as much as I could, because the Sableye did not leave with a foul play. And I'll have the back-to-back loaded, but I believe my opponent anticipates me throwing the Hydro right away. And I saw the Lantern come in, but I also kind of want to chip this thing. So you see me go straight for another Hydro Cannon, and I'm hoping the opponent lets this through. But this is the last Pokemon, so they correctly shield. And now I can safely shield the first one, I believe, because they're unlikely to bait on the first go-around. And if they land a Thunderbolt, then you got to play that game of will they surf, will they not? And it's just really, really annoying. I think my opponent notices that I can just go straight Sky Attack, and that they most likely will get Dragon Breath down, and they concede the match. I wanted to showcase this team because I wanted to see if it's still viable. And the one Pokemon that makes it slightly unviable is that Pokemon you see right there across your screen. Not the Swampert. The Ninetales. The Ninetales is prevalent everywhere. I just got swept today using Registeel Double Dragon with an A9 lead running Charm. Tell me how insane that is. I could not believe it. But hey, you know, you misplay certain things and you get calls for it. I came into Altaria because I figured maybe Reggie would have some more play in the back. I wasn't expecting them to let that go, which was kind of insane. And we did correctly shield the Dazzling Gleam in the beginning. I figured as somebody that doesn't like to shield, you know, I might as well try and shield. And I knew I had the Hydro Cannon loaded, so I go for it immediately. And look at this asinine play. I make a call, and the call is great. But they're gonna outpace... Oh no, they catch on the tree. And now all I need to do, I believe they used up their shield. All I need to do is outpace the Shadow Ball. I throw it on the CMP because I'd rather not have to shield, have a healthy Dragonite, and then even with the resisted Dragon Breaths, we're going to be able to farm down A9. So, we managed to come back from this one, but if they're running a Charm A9, I think this Swampert comp just loses way too hard. And here I make another error. Obviously, I'm rocking a different Pokemon in the lead, so I'm not yet used to some of the matchups. I know that a Psycho Boost does a lot of damage, but honestly, after landing that Hydro, I should have swapped into Altaria, because now I think I CMP on this Hydro, and they let the Deoxys go. And like, this isn't bad, right? I'm gonna have to shield this Dragon Claw, but I would have rather have had Swampert a little bit more healthy. And then they come in with the Goon, and they're up 2 shields. There's no reason for them to try to call a bait. And I should learn that this is the case, so I should be going straight Sky Attack. I am finding every potential lose con that there is to find in this game. Lucky for me, my opponent chooses not to shield and farm down. They'd rather get off this energy. And I'm noticing that my Swampert is still really relatively healthy, and because their energy dry, should be able to either CMP or outpace this next Hydro. And I'm just hoping that they let this go. They do, and now it's GG's because we can Dragon Breath down their Dragonite. I think the Reggie lead, you should full send a Hydro and then swap into Altaria to bait anything out that they might have in the back. You don't outpace to this move. So you are going to have to shield, sadly, because it will be a Focus Blast. And you kind of need this Swampert. I try to overfarm to hopefully not let them catch. You know, a lock-on is hard to time. They could swap out at any moment, but they let it go. And I stay in, I think, a little too long. I come in with Altaria because it's much bulkier. And here is my mistake again. Dragonite is your safe swap. Your safe swap is Dragonite. And I broke my rule and came in with Altaria thinking that because it was bulkier, it would tank an Ice Punch. And sure, they might have thrown off an Ice Punch against my Dragonite, but I still should have came in with Dragonite because I would have gotten the shields back. I would have had a much healthier Swampert. And they wouldn't have gotten as much farm from my Dragonite debuffed as they do here. They come back in with Medi, and I believe they're rocking Power Up Punch and Psychic. So they full send the Psychic. And at this point, I've used up both of my shields. They're gonna get a nice juicy farm. Maybe I should have baited with the Dragon Claw, but I don't think I would get to 3 Dragon Claws in order to KO. And it's GG's. I think best case scenario, I should have stored up the Hydro as I'm 1 away. And maybe then I would have been able to outpace. So, you know, just not understanding the matchups, not understanding my win cons. And yeah, we take a heartbreaking loss. We come in with Dragonite onto this tree, and we're met immediately by the Wall Rain. This is pretty hard counter. About as hard counter as it can get. I think worse would have been a Venu lead. And I don't see any incentive for them to bait, but they're savages. They bait because obviously 2 Icicle Spears KOs, and now I'm going to CMP tie on the next Icicle Spear. And I believe this KOs because they're a Shadow. I full send the Hydro on the Trev just to get some chip damage. And then as soon as I swap into Altaria, they have an Alolan Sand Slash of all asinine things. And I top left. Galarian Weezing. This is pretty much exactly where I want to see it, but they're not swapping out. They're not building up to a big move, and it makes me kind of worried. I'm at the back-to-back. I wait a turn to make sure they can't catch. They're at the next Brutal Swing right now, and because that doesn't KO, I'd rather not invest a shield and let this thing go down. They come in with Swampert. They're a little slow to the swap, and they bring in Toxapex. And you would think this is a favorable matchup for the really, really bulky, annoying pest. But it isn't. Look at this. Look at this oppressive Dragon Breath damage. In the previous video, people were asking me if they could use a regular Dragonite. This is Exhibit A of why you can't. This Pokemon is pretty prevalent right now, and Dragonite like just demolished the whole thing because they attempted to shield farm down. And now I can save shields for Altaria. 2-to-1 shields, this game is over. If you're enjoying the video so far, definitely leave a like, consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. And we have the OG Flier in Skarmory. Is there play for Skarmory in this meta? I think the answer is a resounding no. Sadly, because I like Skarmory. This beautiful metallic bird. You win this in just about every shield scenario. You have to be the first one to invest shields though. And at this point, you're just over-farming so much energy that you will outpace to the next Sky Attack. So they know that, and they let their Skarmory go down. And now I have 2 Mons that do relatively well back here. They are going to build up, I believe. Do they build up? Yeah, they build up to the Rock Slide. They full send it, which is a first for any Shadow Machamp, which is insane. And they have a Swampert in the back. And because they didn't bait out a Dragon type with their Skarmory, seeing as they're kind of weak in the back to a Dragon type, those IVs coming in clutch. I realize I'm just barely able to farm down. So IVs, you know, don't matter until they do. Altaria safely tanks a Rock Slide, but we don't need to make a catch or anything like that. And we take that game. Another difficult lead. This isn't like the safest for Swampert. But the play is to go straight Hydro. However, I have realized that most fighters tend to let the first move go through. This one not being the case. So I was going to say full send the Earthquake. But I still think the safer play is to go for the Hydros, as I don't do here. The Earthquake ensures the 1-hit KO, but I shouldn't have CMP'd on this move. I need the Swampert. Like, the Swampert needs to bait out this shit. You know, like, I needed to handle the things in the back. And because they brought a really, really hard response to my Dragonite, I'm sort of assuming that there is a Basti or some sort of annoying shit in the back. Oh, man. What do they come in with? It's a Bastion we top left. They come in with Medi, which gives me some hope. I am going to have to tank an Ice Punch, unfortunately. I'm going to try to throw this move off before they leave. We get the Sky Attack off, and I'm just hoping that I have some sort of play in the back. And in comes the Bastion, and this is GG's. One superpower doesn't KO from full health. So even if, you know, there was a potential scenario there, the only scenario was that I needed to save the Swampert. So does this team have play? I think it still does. I went 3-2 and then 2-3 with this team, but it's the old school OG team, and I love Swampert, so I love seeing him still be able to have play with this team comp. If you want a much better video on how this team works, it's a few seasons back. Check out PogoKieng's channel. I'll try to showcase a thumbnail or link it down below. That video is fire. You should do yourselves a favor and just check it out just for shits and giggles, because it's honestly such a great video. I'm close to hitting legend. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I don't tank. I'm still rocking the same team from the last video. I hear that a lot of you are using it to great success. I'm really happy to hear that. I love that team, and I hope to be able to hit legend with it. I'll catch you in that next video. Peace.